Hey guys, welcome to our first weekly read aloud. So excited to see you guys. I hope that you will enjoy this story this week. A couple of reminders. Remember, this story is going to connect to our story of the week. We already know that in this unit, we're talking about exploring. We're talking about explorers themselves, and we're also talking about adventures. Remember, our big question this week is, what role does curiosity play in exploration? We'll be exploring this same question for the next 2 weeks as well. So let's just go ahead and dive straight in. Our story today is entitled Miss Mitchell's Eclipses. Right before we got into the story, hopefully you guys enjoyed that video about an eclipse, because I wanted you guys to see the different types of eclipses there are and how they form, okay? Especially since we're going to be reading about an eclipse in our story. Also, here is our main character, Maria Mitchell. Now, before we dive into our story this week, I want to review our expectations. Remember, read alouds will be assigned every single Monday and due on Fridays by 3 p.m. Each story will come with 4 questions and a place for you to put your unknown words. Let's review expectations one more time. There are weekly read alouds every week. You are to complete them for homework, not during class time, and they are due every Friday at 3 p.m. Let's keep moving. Scholar expectations. Remember, we went over these last week, what we should do while the teacher is reading. The first thing is you want to write down those words you don't know and share them during the stopping point at the very end. We will go over the words you don't know on Friday, just to make sure we're learning new words every single day. So make sure you get those words down so that way we have a great conversation come Friday. Also, you want to take notes summarizing each paragraph. 1 to 3 words is enough. Remember, you don't want to write an entire paragraph to summarize a paragraph. That is not smart thinking. So we want to make sure we're not spending a lot of time on this. Just 1 to 3 words. Who were those characters? What was the main point? If it's in chronological order, what was the event? Because we've been thinking about chronological order and sequence lately. So make sure you guys are keeping that in mind as we go. And then you want to make sure that you use your imagination to picture the setting and the characters and events in the story as we are reading. Quick recap. Write down those unknown words, summarize those paragraphs, and visualize what's happening. It seems like we're ready to get started, so let's dive into our story. Miss Mitchell's Eclipses by Sarah Novak. Let's go ahead and dive in. During an annular solar eclipse in 1831, Maria Mitchell carefully counted the seconds to calculate its exact position. Maria was 12 years old, helping her father as he viewed the eclipse through the family telescope. At age 14, she was checking the accuracy of chronometers used in navigating by the sun, moon, and stars for the captains and crews of the many ships that sailed from Nantucket, an island off the coast of Massachusetts where she lived. Before we moved on, I don't want to switch the slide. Go ahead and take notes. Write down the words you don't know, and go ahead and write a quick summary of this paragraph. So this is introduction. So remember, every first paragraph is kind of introducing you to what this will be about. So we know the type of solar eclipse there is. We know our main character. We know she lives with her father. We know her age, and we know the setting. So make sure that you're keeping all of that in your mind as we move on. If you would like to pause the video here because you want to take more notes, feel free to do so. But we're going to go ahead and move to the next part of the story. Mitchell's fascination with the heavens increased when she became a teacher and librarian. One clear night in 1847, she was observing the skies with her telescope when she noticed something unusual that was not on the charts: a glowing ball with a long tail. Mitchell had discovered a new comet. Miss Mitchell's comet, officially C 1847 T1, made her world famous and eventually earned her a medal from the King of Denmark. She was elected to the American Academy of Arts and Sciences in 1848, the first woman member. So guys, you're going to have a question next. So make sure that you're taking those notes and make sure you understand exactly what happened in this part of the story. Again, if you need more time to take those notes, write down those unknown words, feel free to pause the video. But we're going to go ahead and move into that question and back into the story. All right, guys, we are now back in the story. Hopefully, you feel confident about your answer to that last question. Let's keep pushing forward. There will be a question after this one as well, so make sure you're taking great notes. Here we go. Mitchell was also the first female astronomy professor in the United States at Vassar College in Tuskegee, New York, appointed in 1865. She became the director of Vassar's Observatory with the third largest telescope in the country. Vassar was then a women's college at a time when education for girls and young women was still rare. Also unusual was Mitchell's insistence that students make their own scientific investigations. In this way, she wrote, "The truth which they get will be theirs, and their minds will work on and on unfettered." All right, so guys, take a minute. Again, make sure you take those notes. Make sure you write down those unknown words. We already know there's going to be a question next. So if you need to pause, go ahead and do so. But if you are ready, go ahead. Let's move into this next question and then back into the story. All right, guys, welcome back again. Hopefully, you guys did an awesome job on that last question. You guys have such big brains, so I'm sure you did well. This is our last section of the story. There will be a question after this, but you guys will be able to knock it out. Let's dive right back in. Interestingly, even though women seldom traveled on their own, then Mitchell led expeditions with her students to view and analyze solar eclipses to Iowa in 1869 and to Colorado in 1878, where they set up their tents and telescopes. They later reported their observations. All right, guys, before you move on, write down those last words and take those last set of notes. Awesome job listening to this read aloud. Hopefully, you followed those scholar expectations and you'll be able to knock out these last two questions. Can't wait to see you guys in class tomorrow.